Everyone is dead within, within an hour and a half. The session ends. We want another, say the players. Sigh deeply in my soul. Guys, I think my players are sadists. Hey everybody, Squid Fried Rice here. Get your squid fried rice. Yes, it is fried rice that was fried by a squid. Anyway, welcome to another DnDGreentext video. How are you guys doing? Hope you're having a wonderful day today. Before jumping into it, I want to quickly kindly ask you if you want to take a moment to smash the like button. Takes a second and helps out a lot, so thanks so much for doing that. And yeah, with that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video. Anon picks a one-shot. Setup. We have this DM who's a massive weeb, but it usually doesn't really show in his campaigns, aside from some obscure references that no one understands. He's pretty decent aside from that. So after we finished a long running one, he's like, the next one will be in Underdark, as we discussed, and I'll have a crap ton of work preparing it, so we'll run a one-shot in the meantime. We were like, sure. He proceeds to present the first idea, about playing Children of Gods in Celtic mythology-inspired battle of some sort against Fomorians, and how we are 20th level demigods off to persuade the great hero Scarak to join the said battle. Sounds rad. What's the second option? He has this gleam in his eye as he goes, I have this idea about 2 who one-shot, where you play as fairies trying to find your lost friend in Scarlet Devil Mansion. We were literally told to choose between 20th level god-slaying battle and hide and seek with 2 AGU fairies. Okay, pick related. Both. Yeah, okay. Honestly, I think I'd just go for the second one. Party Mom goes rogue. Be me, DM. Be not me. Tiefling Arcane Trickster Rogue. Halfling Lore Bard, plus 4 more party members who don't matter to this story. Rogue has become the voice of reason as of late, reigning in the more impulsive members of the party. Cough, Bard, cough. The party is trying to get the local government to rule in their favor, and it was suggested that they could speak to a few of the representatives to plead their case. They only needed 3 to change their minds. First 2 went smoothly, but when they came to the third one, they heard rumors that he was diverting local funds from the rehabilitation projects in the slums. The rogue is an orphan from the slums. She requests to play bad cop to the bard's good cop when they visit him. The party arrives at the representative's house. It's a mansion in the rich part of town. From the moment they meet, it's clear that he's an elitist prick. The initial negotiations go poorly. The representative rejects all of the bard's requests, but insinuates that she could bribe him. The rogue responds by drawing her crossbow. That escalated quickly, that gif. He backs up to his desk and begins fumbling against it. She says that he has 2 choices, agree to help or die. He picks a third option and hits a hidden button. The rogue shoots him through a hidden trapdoor. She follows him without hesitation. She goes down a long slide in a hidden cave under the manor. At the bottom, she sees him climbing into a car near the cave exit. She grabs on as it drives away. The car drives down a narrow path along the edge of a cliff. As they approach a curve, the level-headed rogue casts darkness on it. The car veers off the side of the cliff, and only a quick cast of Featherfall prevents this from becoming a murder suicide. The car tumbles down into the forest below and catches fire. She makes her way to the wreck. The representative is now a charred skeleton holding the steering wheel. Hearing wing beats, she beats a hasty retreat before the town guards arrive to investigate. And that's how the city got locked down, while the party has to lay low for a while. No regrets, that PNG. My players are not the Nazguls, but the good guy version. My players are infiltrating the big bad evil guy temple. They spy on her and try to learn about potential weaknesses. She is the leader of the Shadow Order, and the players have been tasked by the Temple of Light to give them intel about her order. They see one of her agents coming back to her, having failed his mission, but to the player's surprise, she doesn't punish him and just tells him that he will need to learn his lesson and not make the same mistake again. The more they learn about her, the more they start to like her. A traitor is brought in the temple. She says that she can tolerate failure but not betrayal. She then states that if the treason was only against her, she would have granted him a quick death, but since he betrayed all of their order, she will make him suffer. She then proceeds to cast Power Word Pain on him and will let the spell continue until the traitor is driven insane, and only then she will grant him the sweet mercy of death. The players actually like her speech about betrayal, and they were impressed by her powers, but are forced to escape. Some sessions later, the players learn about the campaign True Threat, a cult that tries to summon the Great Beast, and the Temple of Light doesn't do anything to stop them. They learn that the big bad evil guy quote-unquote and her order are actually mortal enemies with this cult and are trying to stop them. The Bishop of the Temple of Light is actually a crazy zealot who decides to burn a whole city. A big battle ensues and the players are near defeat when the leader of the Shadow Order comes in and kills the Bishop's champion with a power word kill. The Bishop is forced to share its secrets and reveals that the leader of the Shadow Order is actually the rightful heir to the throne, as she is secretly the only survivor from the massacre of the royal family. The players kill the Bishop, join the Shadow Order, and help the leader of the Order to reclaim the throne. They are now the Dark Horsemen of Dusk, and are the generals of the Order for the war against the Great Beast. I mean, that worked out mostly. That actually did work out there, nice. Ranger casts Mini New. Be me, basic human ranger. Be not me, human barbarian, dwarf fighter, and the DM. After defeating the looters, you make your way up the stairs and come out onto the roof of the keep. You can see the dragon that you are hunting a fair distance away, still on the roof of the keep, asleep. We roll the initiative. Barbarian goes first. I draw my Dragon Slayer and run up and hit it. Deals 44 damage across 2 hits. Dwarf goes next. I keep my distance and shoot it with my crossbow. Dealt I think around 20 damage. My turn. I cast Mini New. Visible confusion. I rip off my necklace of fireballs and throw it at the dragon. Dragon passes the saving throw but gets hit with the equivalent of a 10th level fireball and takes over 60 damage. Yep, it's dead, says the DM. Turns out he forgot to rebalance its health to compensate for our gear, and it only had 31 health left by the time my turn came around. I had honestly hoped for more out of that fight, especially since that was the end of my first campaign. The True Grit game. Be me, forever DM. Love it to death. Players want me to do a gritty Wild West themed campaign. Take them through the levels of grit. Players choose grittiest despite being told anything can happen at that level. Are you sure about that PNG? All in agreement to go through with it. Prep work is done and characters are made. Campaign begins. Be 1 hour later. Fighter gets silently taken out by a cougar after rolling a natural 1 on a perception check during Night Watch. 30 minutes after that, the Barbarian forgets to purify the water and gets diarrhea. Dies 10 minutes later from dehydration. Paladin goes off alone in the woods in a terrible bandit county. Gets stabbed and is bleeding. Cleric heals them before getting sniped in the brain. Monk runs off and retreats. Fails dex save and falls off a 300 feet cliff. Dead. Paladin is surrounded. Passes perception check to listen in on the bandits' plan. Overhears their plan to eat his legs and snack on the rest later. Overhears more horrible things. Deliverance.png decides to run off the same cliff the monk did. Passes the dex save and ends up at 1 health point with no healing available and every bone in their body being broken. Vultures fly overhead. Can't heal enough during long rest because of my rules on it for this level of grit. Coyotes find his body and start feasting on an easy meal. Everyone is dead within an hour and a half. The session ends. We want another, say the players. Sigh deeply in my soul. Guys, I think my players are sadists. PC self-de-yeast rucked. Okay, is it gonna be a pun at the end of the story as well? Be me, playing Obi, a little halfling rogue, classic babyface with raspy cigar voice. Be not me, sorcerer, bard, and DM. Be not us, the Scourge of Balkres, aged dragonborn warlock of the Fiend, played by a new player who soon reveals to be that guy. That guy plays the Scourge of Balkres like a boasting asshole who always wants to one-up others with his feats of strength. Feats of strength, warlock. Let that sink in for a minute. That guy boasts out of character about how strong his character is at level 1. This is gonna be good, that gif. Start the game. Setting is peculiar and quaint. If you're familiar with Bilberry in Gloucestershire, it's pretty much that. Otherwise, basically think the Shire software installed in a Brie hardware. Everybody is friendly and welcoming. The group is welcoming this change of pace and gets comfy. The Scourge of Balkres does not. Sets fire to an outhouse for shits and giggles. We go to the tavern and look for our first gig as adventurers. Seems like giant mole rats are digging through the cellars in order to steal food. New mission. Guard the cellar in the constable's villa. We mount guard, waiting for something to happen. The Scourge of Balkres proclaims that he can do the guard duty all by himself. Party looks at each other. Okay, good night. Obviously, the Scourge of Balkres is exhausted the next morning and misses a mole rat sneaking in the west wing of the cellar. Battle. OB kills a mole rat. The Scourge of Balcrest proclaims, "Ha, you call that a killing? I can kill all of these critters all by myself." Spends time to explain out of character how he would do that and that he can really do that. Groaning, we forge on, when suddenly the DM describes the west wing of the cellar. The mole rat has uncovered a barrel. It's full of a finely grounded powder that smells awfully like fermented meat, mixed with something sulfurous. It's awful and makes OB sneeze immediately. Yeast. Lightbulb.gif. OB laments the fact that the barrel has been opened and he cannot close it. The Scourge of Balcrest doesn't waste time in one-upping OB. "Ha! Not your fault you are cursed with puppy legs. You can't even jump over that barrel. Watch this." He jumps in the barrel, head first. My face went. "Okay, roll for suffocation. At disadvantage, you have 1 level of exhaustion," says the DM. That guy freezes in disbelief, watching the DM. "What? I described the content of the barrel in detail. You described how you jumped in head first. Roll for suffocation." He fails. That guy tries to burn down the powder so as to clean his lungs by using his breath weapon. Party's entire face went. DM without skipping a beat. "Good idea. Using your fire-based breath weapon would turn the barrel into a bomb, but it should free you from your predicament." That guy lights up joyous, red in the cheeks. "Great, so DM serious again." "Okay, you inhale yeast. Roll for suffocation." That guy's joy turns into anger. "But how?" DM smiling serenely. "Are you really asking how breathing in powder substances would block your breath weapon?" Party openly snickering at this point. That guy slams his palms on the table, proceeds on a long rant about how the DM is making up these rules, making up rules to kill his character because he clearly didn't prepare for how strong the Scourge of Balcrest was. The DM points out the rules for suffocation on the Dungeon Master's Guide. To be honest, the only thing I had not accounted for was your character jumping headfirst into the powder yeast. But, you are sure squirming a lot there. Let's see if the party notices you. We roll perception. It was not 3 natural ones, but it was low enough that not even OB, my rogue, noticed what was really happening. Party explodes in full-on laughter. 8 minutes pass as the Scourge of Balcrest is desperately trying everything in the book to explode out of the barrel, but he is suffocating, exhausted, blinded by the yeast that ended up in his eyes, and cannot scream to attract the attention of the party. The Scourge of Balcrest dies in a barrel of yeast. That guy screams and insults at the DM, then takes his stuff and goes away. DM takes a napkin, cleans his side of the face that was sprayed with spittle along with the insults, smiles, and speaks. "And so dies Cathy the Seething, Warlock of Tiamat, the Scourge of Balcrest, who marched on this earth to conquer kingdoms and tragically died in a barrel. Such a noble-bred fellow, such a cruel destiny. The pain is immense. None will be greater than this loss. O Wind of the East, bring news of his role in the prophecy and how he died. A toast to him. May the Valkyries sing of him with a loaf and pain." I'm now just imagining the "I am a surgeon" meme, but with the "I am the Scourge of Balcrest" instead. Anyway, alright, that was it for this video. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to leave a like if you did and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, thank you to everyone supporting the channel on Patreon, as well as on YouTube. I appreciate lots. Thanks so much for those. Links below if you want to check them out. There's links to social media, Discord, everything else. And yeah, that's it. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.